Babcock and Crawford and everything else with the coaches, physically, hitting some of the players. I wonder, did something like that sort of happen, or verbal abuse, or was it a teammate? Like, I'm floored by some of the quotes that I saw from this kid.
Well, remember this: he is the kid who took his silver medal and tossed it into the crowd, and that's probably not one of the most stable things to do. As far as, being in sports, no matter how hard you are, and hockey is probably the most passionate game out there. I don't know what his background is as far as how he was raised and his home situation and how he, got through to, making his way through the steps to become an NHL player and then landing on the New York Rangers roster. So if you sit back, and I guess we'll just honestly have to wait, KD, and see what other reports come out, because you're talking about the rest of the team. I haven't seen or heard anything yet going, oh, that guy's crazy. I don't know what he's talking about, whether it's, other guys on the team right now that might say something like that. Obviously, it doesn't always work out for everybody on the team. That's just the way it is. You know it, too, just being a former player, no matter what level, you play at, things just don't work out. But, It's definitely weird. If it gets any weirder, that'll just be kind of like surprising to hear. Hopefully this is the end of it. He's home. He's just chirping away a little bit, and who knows? Maybe he got some bad news, KD, that we're as far as his future is going to be concerned. And sometimes people like that, if they can't take their own responsibility for their mistakes, are going to project, or they're going to blame somebody else. Because like you said, there was some quirky stuff that he said in the interview, and it just, for a guy who plays in the National Hockey League, has made it to that level. It's kind of really way out of bounds. But I think there's more of the story that's going to come out, KD.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to jump to any conclusions either here. I mean, obviously, I think the Rangers are going to at some point have to address this. I think one of the members of the media may have mentioned it to Quinn or asked him about it, and I think he dodged the question a bit. But at some point, I mean, it's out there now, whether or not, what Anderson is saying is true or overblown or whatever. It is definitely a concerning situation where, someone is discussing sort of their mental health. And it was almost sort of similar. Those are sort of the excuses or the reasonings that you were hearing with Kravtsov as well, as, that's sort of, not in a good spot mentally and needed to get home. And it I don't know if the situations are similar because we don't know that much, but just to hear again, it's sort of a mental issue. And, I wonder what's going on there. Is it, where there's smoke, there's fire? And again, I don't want to put any blame on the organization yet because we don't know what happened. And it could be Anderson completely overblowing things. But, you're hearing he was dealing with an injury and maybe the Rangers were trying to get him to sort of play through it, and there's a ton of rumors rampant as well. So I don't want to churn much of it, but I saw people talking about, something with painkillers now and this and that. So it's something that the Rangers at some point are going to have to address because, look, it's out there now, and they can't just ignore it forever. So, it's sort of turning into a bit of a soap opera here because, when it first happened, we just thought, this guy's quitting on the team and he's unhappy he didn't get a chance. But, if it's now turning into a situation where he was being bullied by someone in the organization, someone on the team, someone, whoever, it's that's something that needs to be addressed and needs to be addressed immediately.
We shall see. The Rangers had definitely a long list of characters who have played for this organization. So we'll see what happens. But, from what I can see, and I'm sure you can see, KD, even through the tough times here with this team, they seem to be a happy bunch off the ice, on the ice. The Wolfpack is playing very well. So to me, if the Wolfpack was really in a bad situation and the Rangers were worse than they are, if you kind of saw more of it in terms of the players, in terms of how they might express themselves, off the ice, you might see that. But I don't see it, so I think this is an individual situation right now, and hopefully it'll work out.
Yeah, and you might, and you're probably right. And again, I don't want to jump to any assumptions on it, but you didn't hear any complaints from Shesterkin or when Hedel was down there or Lindgren, and Kravtsov is back, and Kravtsov is back. So if it really was some type of issue with him, I doubt he would come back. So yeah, it's I'm interested to see how this definitely plays out.
All right, buddy. Hey, you got a man crush for the show today? KD's Ranger man crush. What's the story?
Yeah, I'll give my my man crush to Brendan and Joe for being the first guests ever on the Go Rangers Radio. I almost said We Bleed Blue podcast. Goodness, on the Go Rangers.
Oh, so it is. You did make a deal with them.
Cat's out of the bag. Cat is out of the bag. God damn it! Sorry, Paulie.
Oh,
So
well,
we'll give it to those guys. I thought they did a good job today. I think I want to give it to Brendan and Joe.
All right. No, I'm not. I'm just saying.
No, I'm just. I'm
Chesty a little love too.
All right, he did an okay job. I mean, he did let up 3 goals. I mean,
That's my boy KD. Keeping it real, baby.
Let's not get too crazy. He didn't pitch a shutout or anything.
It's only one game. It's only one game. All right, Rangers going for their 21st and 22nd wins this weekend. Me and Katie will be back on the other side afterwards. Maybe we'll get a quick cast maybe before next Wednesday. Once again, big thanks to Brendan and Joe from We Bleed Blue. Follow them, WeBleedBlue.com. Do the whole thing. Buy the shirts. The guys are great. KD, say goodnight to the folks, buddy.
Good night, folks.
All right. See you next time. Until then, let's go, Rangers!